Darren Haydar off the face-off. Will play it up top for Paul Postma. Now it's Krog. Letting it go. He scores! Jason Krog with traffic out in front. Devo, as you just touched on, camped out in front.
He does that so well. But Jason Krog, the last player I saw as we headed upstairs was Jason Krog, and I told him to shoot the puck. And that is a blast. I think one of the things that we saw last game was the fact that he was on the point. We touched upon that, but they hadn't really practiced it that much with him in that area. And he's got such a great shot. Good win of the faceoff by Devo. Haydar gently across the postma. He'll set the table, and this is a different angle. Not sure if it went off a stick, but it had eyes right through Toivonen, a power play marker, and 30th in the American Hockey League, and that is one of the reasons why. Not the greatest of goaltending in power play situations, or mind that they can do it. As here we go. You mentioned this before the game to me.
Hagel and Huxley will go at it. They fight nearly every time they played against each other in the ECHL, and they're going to scrap here. They fought the preseason. It was a great tilt, and they're off to a good start here, entertaining the faithful in Rockford. Hagel landing some laughs and connecting with some rights is Huxley. Huxley getting the better right now, and then Hagel fights himself back in. Two welterweights.
Yeah, not the biggest of guys. Big hearts, though.
Absolutely. And they continue to go toe-to-toe. We're a good 30 seconds into the tilt.
That's the right job by the linesman. When the sweater comes over the head today, they jump right in. Quite a battle. I'm mentioning not the biggest of guys, but huge hearts, and they just love this.
Yeah, would you be smiling after that?
Are you kidding?
Huxley was smiling as he's going to the box.
First shift together, and I'm sure everybody knew this would take place on both sides. Some pretty good shots in early. Hagel did switch a couple times, went to the left. I think maybe surprised Huxley, but Huxley came back with some good flurries of rights. And then the sweater eventually would come up over top of Huxley's head. Then the linesmen attack to each other, and they jump in. After some distrobing, I thought we were going to see some slap shot.
Well, we're 2 minutes and 39 seconds into the first. The Wolves have scored in the first period for the first time. Jason Krog, the goal scored, and we got a fight.
It was an easy breakout for the Hogs.
Mahacek fresh on the ice, tried to put the pass in between the skates of Tate, but he broke it up. And now the opportunity back the other way. Kyle Beach's shot. That's up. Mahacek and Beach are dropping the minutes. I told you, Billy, there could be a lot of fights tonight.
I wouldn't believe you, but that is the truth.
Mahacek landing some laughs as Beach pinned up against the glass. So Spencer Mahacek, aggressive, and now coming back was Beach. Mahacek gets angry and connects again with the laughs.
He certainly did.
Beach gets the last shot as they go to the ice, but another welterweight fight.
Yeah. Spencer does not fight a lot. Beach does. He has, in the junior ranks, does score a lot of goals too. And I'm surprised there. One of the things that I do not like is when they do the takedown and everyone thinks somebody wins because of the takedown. But the thing that I look at now is when they fall, their heads so vulnerable to the ice. And boy, that smarts. It's like hitting concrete. You can see that turnover as they both were heading to the ice. But both, I think, combatants got a flurry of hard punches to the face. And Spencer did a heck of a job here.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he a couple times came back very strong. There's a right there, solid one. Takedown, as I mentioned, you just watch. You don't want to hit the back of your head. You go down so hard, split open so easily, and that's one of the reasons there's more concussions because of situations like that.
And that's sometimes why coaches cringe when a guy like Spencer Mahacek fights, because something could happen. And Spencer,
beautiful move. And that's a play that should never happen for a defenseman. You have the ability to go around to forward coming out, but Postman did it nicely.
Huxley, there we go, into the his man. Now he's going to fight Ryan Stanton. Second fight for Huxley in this game. Stanton sticking up for a teammate after the hit by Huxley. They're trying to wrestle the helmets off here. They can't get them off, so they just start throwing. Stanton gets his right free, loses his helmet. Now Huxley comes back with some rights. Huxley landing, the helmet of Huxley comes off, and now a laugh.
Yeah, they're exhausted. Yeah, that's enough. But I believe the extra 2 minutes will go to Huxley on the initial play in the corner on the hit. Stanton, as you mentioned, that's a gutsy play. Defenseman coming into the aid, and I think he's got some equipment problems. It looks like he might be going off.
That or if he wasn't tied down,
he's running to get out of the way now. He's not tied down because he would be thrown out of the game if that was the case.
Passes the test.
Here we go. Here's Stan with the puck initially. Huxley with him. There's the hit on Smith. And that is from behind, so that'll be a 2-minute mire. Then Stanton does come in. Again, that's a good play on his part as a teammate.
Yep.
And Huxley probably realizing he made an error, ready to battle.
So we'll see if they get an instigator to Ryan Stanton here to negate.
Yeah. Good rights. Nice little left there. A little quick one. Holding on to the sweater. I think there's a hit from behind. Not as bad as at first look, but still from that area where you got to have a little bit more respect in situations. You know, we're at a point now, I think, after all these years of talking about this, the player that's going to be hit has to be a little bit more responsible in what he's doing, too. Well, I mean, working, get control of the puck, got a little help, and that's what happens sometimes. Just to work hard, keep the mouth shut.
Kozek shoots, he scores as we go indoor soccer with the music rolling.
First and foremost, a face-off win in the offensive zone, directly back to the point, and then right through a seam. And we've been talking about Andre Deveau and his face-offs. This one is on the opposite side, so not as easy for a righty, but a great job. Pulls it back, wins it on his forehand. Big Boris Valabic. I'm not sure how much was on that shot, to be honest with you. And it laid there, and Kozek, who was actually being taken care of, extends his arms around a body, finds a puck, and just smothers it to the far post. And the Wolves get a very important goal to make it 2-0.
Absolutely, and it all started again with Deveau winning another faceoff. The big guy can do it all.
Just can't give those away when you have great possession.
Galvin late in the man advantage, couldn't get it in. Carroll will lob it up high. It's up there to Smith. He scores. Shot goal.
Swallow for Drew McIntyre. You got a power play. You might be able to put the game away with a 3-0 lead, and the Wolves get stopped at the blue line on the power play, and that should not happen. Boy, when you have the extra man, you got to utilize that or get it deep. Here's the initial pass through. Gallivan gets stopped by Klinkhammer. Had a great PK. He takes it away, and he lofts it over everybody. So everyone caught through the neutral zone. Smith, I'm not sure if he came from the box, the player's bench, but he was all alone. Puck rolling, man on his back, and somehow found a spot to put it in.
So first shorthanded goal scored this season for Rockford. First given up by the Wolves. And it's a one-goal game. Nigel Dawes and Jason Krog along with Darren Haydar out there now for the Wolves. They can't break out. Second effort collected by Dawes. Quickly ahead. Krog, now Haydar dropping it off. Dawes diving to the net. He scores! Tic-tac-toe!
Where has it been?
Well, I think they found the winger.
Oh, that was pretty great plays. And I just mentioned this. What a difference with speed out of the zone. Not waiting and slowing it down. Coming out with authority and taking the puck in with authority and really knowing what you're going to do. Head man, and you mentioned it earlier about letting the puck do the work. And just beautiful plays. Krog to Haydar. Look at the attention. Everybody looking at the puck and not paying attention to the most dangerous guy. That was Dawes coming late. The feed by Haydar back and a perfectly placed wrister top shelf just under the bar.
77 EHL goals now for Nigel Dawes, and the Wolves have a 2-goal cushion. Just the second time this year the Wolves have led by 2, and the first time was earlier this game when Kozek made it 2-0.
Yikes.
So Dawes, the shoulder blast, 4-on-4 escape to Deveau, creating havoc out in front, and Kozek couldn't get to it in time.
Oh, he just couldn't get the puck through the big pads of Toivonen.
A minute ago, tip in time, Klinkhammer scores.
Now, Jason, that's a huge play at one end of the ice by a goaltender. Toivonen keeps that puck out of his net when it looks like Devo's going to make a play through and have an opportunity. So when Devo's stop, all of a sudden, remember, 4-on-4 hockey, up it goes. Here's a face-off draw, won again by DeVoe. Shot gets through, it actually hits DeVoe. I thought at that point he's going to kick it to his forehand and score. So the stop is made, 2 forwards get caught, and the puck goes the other way. Klinkhammer drives to the net, gets just past Cyphers, and his longer reach on Cyphers, he's able to extend, and a nice thread of the pass to the front of the net, and a redirect has highs right through McIntyre.
Well, Rockford scored both their goals now, and they've had 4 skaters on the ice. This one an even strength goal. Klinkhammer now tied for the team lead with 3 goals. Players, Wisniewski digs it free. Back with Conley. They switch again. Wisniewski down low. Centering pass off of McIntyre. Conley will connect. 14 seconds ago in the 2-man power play. Potoni to Conley. Switching with Wisniewski. Now he lets it. Kelly scores! Against his former mates, ties it at 3.
Well, a very good setup. Very patient. A couple good plays defensively, quite honestly, with only 3 guys. Drew McIntyre made a couple plays with his stick. But obviously, this is what they're trying to set up the blast from Wisniewski because he has such a great one. And that's just beating a guy cleanly with speed. Cyphers as his man, but that man's not doing a lot, Jeff Tate, in that area. The shot itself was just dynamite underneath the left pad. Nice set up by Conley, and they tried that at least 3 times. That's the play they wanted, finally got it. Away, beautiful play defensively.
Rockford 1 for 7 in the power play, gets another crack at it here. A 4-on-3. They'll spend the rest of overtime at the man advantage unless they take a penalty. Letty. Potoni, back to Letty. Left side for Conley. 1-timer, they score! Tipped out in front, Makarov's first goal.
Great play. Their power play looked awfully deadly. Moved it around nicely at times. And there's Conley through the seam. One-timer fanned upon her, maybe even redirected by Vlahovic, but nobody around Makarov, and he